Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III. I'm the best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. I'd like to say hello to all of the Morehouse Parish School Board. I am doing this video to personally introduce myself and let you know about the services that we provide and kind of give you some context into it so you have a better understanding of exactly what it is I do and how it really looks. Our practice is probably right now about 20 years old. We have been really at a national level, serving over 36 states right now for the last 15 years. Really have had a great deal of success with helping school districts and juvenile facilities to better serve the minority population, which we all know is very high in its suspension and expulsion rates. That's where we have excelled. As you know, in our district, we do have some problems with suspensions, and so the first approach that we've always taken to this is that there's like 4 components to the training program. So when you talk about being successful in a school system, you have to understand what portions of the company have to be trained. So you see here, if you want to be successful, you see that 10%, that's administration. Okay, so that means the first component that goes into a training process is administration, which is your superintendents, the principal, school board, all goes into that category. The teachers have their own training portion of the program. You see here the parents have their portion of the training program, and you also see here the students have their portion of the training program. Now, what often happens in many districts everywhere is that the student component is typically left out, which means we do the trainings for the teachers to better help them to understand how to work with the population. That's one side. But the kids have to understand what their role is in their education, in their behavior, in their process. The thing that I've seen nationwide all over the country is that our students everywhere in this country are experiencing the highest level of trauma I've seen in my entire practice. Okay, I mean, I've never seen it at the level that it is right now. It's very destructive, and it is depression is a very serious thing right now. I've lost 9 students over the course of the last 2 years to taking their own life. So depression is very real. Even here in the district, earlier this year, we did have a young person who was trying to take their own life, and we were able to, because of the staff that was in place and the expertise, counseling expertise of that professional at that school, we were able to get in front of it, and that child was able to get help and save their life. This is in our district. This happened this year. So this is something that's very real and what our children are going through. Now, these are the 10 things. I go over this list all of the time, but this is the functional trauma list that you can see that's very heavy in our community and communities just like ours everywhere. And you can see here it's the death of a loved one, abuse, seeing the family fall apart, infidelity, which creates trust issues, financial hardship, sexual abuse, drug use and abuse, mental illness in the family, incarceration of a loved one in the family, educational neglect, where you can see a lot of times the kid is attempting to try to become the first person in their family to graduate from high school. I mean, it's 2019, and this is still a brutal reality for many of our students, trying to be the first person in their family to graduate. I was the first male in my family to graduate from high school, so it is a reality for me, and I know what that struggle looks like. And then mother-father rejection, so that's where the person who should have supported you the most is the one that treats you the worst. And so when working with our students, really helping the students to understand that these issues today are no longer something that we can hope the kids deal with on their own. And in a basic district or a basic approach, we've always attempted to try to introduce therapists and a social worker. Well, sometimes those things can help, and sometimes, first of all, we need those things, and we do need therapists. We need counselors at all levels of our school. Now, these things are very hard to do because particularly you need to get the right people. We do have some very competent people in the district in that area, and so having the therapist there to be able to help and support, that is one layer. But another layer is the educational component, where you're really help start teaching and training the kids about understanding things that are going on with them. And this is where we are putting all of our energy into helping our student population to understand a lot of the things that they go through, to understand that many of the things they go through are not their fault. How do you respond? How do you recover? How do you get yourself in a better emotional state as a 9-year-old, as an 11-year-old, as a 15-year-old male who's experiencing these things? This is a clinical education process that must happen. It is an education process that students must have, but it is what teachers must have. We must understand how to deal with trauma. So the key is we're always talking about how do we help and teach students who have suffered trauma. So the component that we really spend our energy on is helping our students. So in our student support program, which is about avoiding negative behaviors, very fundamental, it is about helping the students to, one, set goals, to help them to understand how to be a scholar, to help them to increase their self-awareness, to understand the traumas that they deal with, the issues that they are confronted with in life, how to go about being well and to live a healthy life as young people. These are things, and one thing I noticed in our district, because I've had the opportunity to talk to most of the students in the district at the high school, at the magnet, at the lower schools. One thing I have noticed that's big in our district, and it's not just, our district, it's everywhere, but the confidence of our students is extremely low. And it is a process to where we must invest time in building the confidence of our students. What we found in my investigation and just the way that we do the research internally in all of the districts that I'm in, we found last year that about 20% of our students, and I know it's much higher, but 20% of our students, I have over 250,000 kids in my program, which means in the districts that I serve around the country, it's over 250,000 students in my network. So that means that I'll see over the course of a school year. And the one thing that we found, that 20% of our students, and last year on the state test, our LEAP test, or in other places, they didn't even try. Okay? So think about that. That means here we are, a F as a district. Many of our schools are a F. And the brutal reality is that we have students that don't try on the test. Now that's something that, hey, we need to kind of stop and think about that. They don't even try. So it's not, they don't know. They don't try. And so that speaks to a disconnect between sometimes the faculty and the kid, and just bringing the kid. And I like to always say that our students really need to be coached. Now, one component, as I showed you, all of the pillars, our parents need support, our students need support, our teachers need support and guidance on how to work together. And so when we talk about this program and the energy we put into kids, what are the necessary coping skills to move forward in life? How do you become emotionally healthy? Student motivation, and how to ensure that our students graduate. So the courses look like, and when we talk to the kids, it is about substance abuse, which we see that they're using younger and younger. How do we prevent this fighting that is going on? Mr. Locke will attest to you, like, he's got a full house and he's busting out of the seams over there. So we're going to need some space. Why? Because the fighting is escalating. And what that is telling you is the anxiety, the frustration, all of those issues that are going on in our community are going to have to be addressed. And the purpose of the program is to train kids, to talk to kids about how to resolve conflict, how to control yourself. How do you do things like that? And this is something that we have to continue to do. This process has been started, but it is something that we really need to move forward and pound with. Maintaining academic focus. How do you deal with sexual and emotional abuse? Making kids aware of those dangers, what they look like in a situation. How do you deal with depression? How do we help? We have some kids that are on the wrong road and involved in some criminal conduct. Helping them to understand that's not the road. There are other ways to go about things, and giving kids their options and opportunities. This is about avoiding destructive behaviors, and that is what the process is about. And this is the process that we are working with our students, helping our students to better understand these things. And, sticking with the material we've written multiple books. I'm at 60 books right now, but these are the 3 books that we are primarily used to help staff to better just understand how to work with the kid. Don't kick them out. Why Black and Latino kids are frequently suspended. 7 steps to improve classroom behavior. Suspension is no longer an option. Those 12 steps to change negative behavior, and then closing the relationship gap. How to manage and improve relationships with difficult students. But my energy, my 100% of my energy, and that's where I'm going to keep my energy, is on helping these students to make sure that they are understanding their emotions, help them to build their emotional IQ, help them to learn how to deal with adversity, and help them to learn how to be self-motivated and give max effort in an academic setting. And this right here, by continuing that process and using that energy towards that, we're going to see a better overall result with our students. And it's something that we have to just stay with, commit to, and put a lot of energy to, and we will be able to get a result. So this is the type of thing that you will see routinely that we do, and we've gotten a very, very solid response from our junior high, which was now in elementary school, and working with those young babies and those young kids. We could see a lot of those same things going on at those young levels, and also with our 7th and 8th grade population. So that's where I've really started to work within there, keeping the energy on that, and I'm expecting to see better test scores in those 2 grade levels. So at that junior high, where Miss Taylor is with her school, been working really heavy with the staff and the students there. So I expect to see a much better improved result there, and been working at the 7 and 8 level, just kind of infusing there and working on transition and helping those kids to improve and work on their behavior, because right now that's something we have to give a lot of energy to. So this is where I'm at right now, and this is a part of the process. I thank you for your time, and I really thank you for the opportunity. I want to just continue to help provide the best guidance and support that is needed to get us the best results that we need to show, what our kids' real talent is, because right now our kids' talent is not showing, and the effort is not there right now. And I believe the brains is there, the smarts are there. Now it's about effort and focus, and that's where we want to keep our energy. So this is what we're doing. This is what we'll continue to do. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you soon. I'm going to be sending all of you a package of these books for your own library for every board member, so you can review in your own time. My contact information will also be in there, that you could always reach out to me and call me at any time. I appreciate your support, and I'm looking forward to meeting you and working with everybody soon. Thank you, and take care.